There we go. We're going to make sure that I can actually get better at these trainings. Again, thank you, Krista, for the introduction. I appreciate that. My name is Nick Brown. I'm the president of Radiant EU. I'm going to give you a little weekly training this evening, so thanks for joining me. I know that there's a lot of other things you could be doing this evening. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are just joining our company and joining our calls, a special thank you to you for participating and for leaping in with the one or both feet. Either way is fine to our company and to this opportunity. Hopefully I can add some value to you and to your business as you start getting your Radiant EU career underway. The training topic tonight is going to be handling objections. Some of the training material is going to be aimed more at the leadership in our company, but even if you are brand new with our company, you're going to hear some commonly heard objections or questions when presenting the Radiant EU business opportunity that I think you'll get some value from, especially as you build your presenting skills and your sharing skills. Before I even get into that, I was wondering do we have Elizabeth Brown on the call tonight? I'll give her 1 second. She's still muted out there. I wanted to see if she'd be willing to share what has happened with her recently in her business. Elizabeth, are you out there? Maybe we'll see if we can give her a second to call. Elizabeth, if you are on the line and you do get to a place where you can speak, go ahead and interrupt me at any point in the training here. I'd love to hear from you tonight on the call. In any case, so handling objections with network marketing, direct sales, especially something in the multi-level marketing compensation plan industry, generally speaking, there are a handful of objections or questions that are frequently asked and commonly handled in any and all presentations. You're going to hear the same thing on a regular basis, especially if you spend any time with Radiant EU giving this opportunity presentation, just like Krista did a wonderful job doing. You're going to hear the same particular objections. There are going to be some off-the-wall ones, which is fine. I'm going to cover, 3, 6, 9 or 10 of the some of the most common ones that I've heard in my career, spanning more than a decade. I got involved in network marketing more than 10 years ago when I was in college. And believe me, once you've heard all these objections and you've practiced handling them, they're going to be a breeze. I want to remind you that handling objections is simply another skill set that you get to learn in this industry with this company and as you build your career skill set here. It's a learned trait, and I recommend that the best way to get better at it is to practice it. You don't have to even practice it live. However, that is the best way to do it. And I also recommend that you let yourself off the hook while you're giving presentations or answering these questions. If you don't have the answer perfect or completely scripted, that's fine. But you at least need to go through the experience so that you can get better for next time. I recommend while you're driving in the car, practice a couple of these little scripts, write them out for yourself, and practice handling the particular question you want to practice out loud in the car. It's one thing to do it in your head. It's much different when you actually have to say the words out loud in order in a cohesive fashion. So I recommend practicing where nobody can hear you if you feel uncomfortable, or if you happen to have a spouse or a friend, even your dog that's willing to role play with you for these, write them out, switch spots, play each role, and practice so that you can get better. So handling objections is first and foremost a posturing and an attitude. Don't get defensive. This is a normal part of the process. There aren't any bad questions. Most people are just looking for more information, and some people are actually looking to see how you handle yourself, not just for the content of your answer. Some people are actually looking to see if you get flustered or looking to see how good of a leader you are or how poised you are under pressure. Some people will actually try to ask you a hard question or an emotional question to see if they can rattle you. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to be offensive. They're trying to do their due diligence. And the only way to do that is to ask questions. So the tougher the question, the better response you might be getting from this person. There are some cranky people out there that just want to push your buttons. But by and large, most of the objections that you're going to get are people seeking more and better information from the presentation. That's why our presentations are a half an hour max. We can't possibly give them every piece of information about all of our products and our ingredients and our sourcing and our compensation plan and our bonus structure in half an hour, to say nothing about the mission and the philanthropy and the history and all of that stuff. So we give them enough to make a decision as to whether they are interested. And some people, it'll be enough information to get started right away. Most people, however, want a couple of other key questions answered. Some of those questions come out in the form of an objection. Okay? So when you're answering their objections or answering their questions, start by validating their question. Say something like, that's a great question, I'm glad you asked. Again, there aren't any bad questions. And if it's true, even share that lots of people ask about the same thing. My suggestion for how you answer each particular question starts with the same flow, which is validating the question. And then I recommend, especially for beginners, use the feel, felt, found. I'll say that again. Validate the question, and then use feel, felt, found as a template for your response. If you've heard me train before, I've certainly used this. So I'd say, Sarah, thanks so much for that question. I appreciate that. And actually, we get that question a lot. The question might have been, I don't have enough money to do this business, or I can't afford it right now, right? So I said, Sarah, I appreciate you asking, or I appreciate that statement from you. I can certainly understand how you feel, because when I first saw network marketing in college, I felt the same way. I certainly didn't have enough money, and I couldn't afford to get involved. What I found was that through the training and coaching of that particular company, they had a way for me to earn my initial investment back in a very short period of time. So, Sarah, if I could show you a simple, straightforward method in the first month or two for you to earn your entire investment plus some back, would you still be interested in pursuing this? All right, so we're validating the question. We're using feel, felt, found to relate to their particular objection or question, and then giving them a particular answer that would hopefully solve the question or dilemma that they're posing. Okay, so that's, I don't have the money. That's a common one, right? Or I can't afford it, I don't have the money. How about I don't have the time? Sarah says, I see an opportunity for myself, but I just don't think I have enough time. Sarah, I can certainly understand where you're coming from. You'd be surprised how many people say the same thing. In fact, I know how you feel, because I felt the same way when I got involved. I was a full-time college student. I was the vice president of my fraternity. I was active in a couple of student groups on campus. I didn't think I had any time at all. But what I found was that using their coaching and using their system, this is really designed part-time spare time, and it fits very well into a busy person's schedule. In fact, most of the people that we have working with Radiant You right now are working this business part-time and spare time. Now, you don't always have to relate all of the questions back to you, especially if you've only been involved for a couple of months or so. And that's why in my previous trainings, and I'll mention it again, I recommend that while you're networking, not just with people outside of Radiantly You, but while you're talking with people inside of Radiantly You, gathering stories about where people are, their backgrounds, how they came to Radiantly You, and what they're doing with this opportunity are incredibly valuable pieces of information that you can use inside your presentations and inside your objection handling. So there are lots of stories about independent wellness guides that I know are working in our company right now that have lots of other things on their plates. I've done trainings for people who have more than 7 children, which blows my mind. I thought I was busy with 3, and I can't complain at all, right? Because I know that people are doing Radiantly You, part-time, spare time, some even full-time, with more kids than I do. So we understand that most people are simply looking for a value judgment. They're not saying it's impossible. They're just saying to you, when they ask a question or have an objection, prove to me that this is worth my time. Prove to me that there is enough value here for me to shift my priorities and give this a shot. So remember, don't get defensive. These are all very natural, but these are the most common ones on a regular basis. So gather those stories from other independent wellness guides, the people in your crossline, upline, downline, it doesn't matter. But if you can relate to a first name and a particular place in Radiantly You, if you tell that person's story while handling the objection, the other person can relate to the person you're speaking about because they are very similar. Maybe somebody's working nights as a nurse. We certainly have people in Radiant You that are doing that. Maybe we have somebody that has just started a new teaching job. We have teachers in Radiant You, and now that the summer is coming to a close, they think they don't have as much time anymore because it's after Labor Day and they're going back to class. All very reasonable, but if you have those stories that you can that you can tell. The cliche in the industry is facts tell, stories sell. I'm not looking for you to sell anybody on this, but if you can relate them to another person who's having the same experience, it will help you help them overcome their objection. How about the objection, I'm not good at sales. I don't want to be a salesperson. The concept behind this one is that we encourage them to share and not sell. You've heard this in our Quick Start training. I don't want to teach you how to sell. I don't have any Jedi mind tricks to get people to use our bleach alternative instead of their Clorox. There are plenty of people out there that are open and willing to look and see what we've got. So in handling this particular objection, I don't want to be a salesperson or I'm no good at sales, I'd recommend you'd say something like, Sarah, I completely know where you're coming from. I hear that a lot. In fact, I felt the same way when I got involved. Anybody hear a pattern evolving here, right? After the third time, they're going to start grinning at you because they're going to pick up on your cadence, but that's okay. It still works. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I was an engineer. I was pretty shy. I didn't really like talking to people outside of my small little friends group. But this industry, and especially this company, is a lot more about sharing something authentically that you care about, whether it's the mission, the company, the opportunity, or the products. We want you to share what you already feel good about, just like you've been doing in the rest of your life up to this point. When you see a good movie and you tell somebody about it, you're simply sharing something that you like and you'd think that they would enjoy. That's the same approach we'd like to take with people here. So I'm not asking you to sell, and I'm certainly not going to give you a training manual on how to sell our products with all the ingredients and the technical specifications. That's not required. We have the tools in place to help you present both the opportunity and the products and let them speak for themselves. We'll also help you during that process. If that was the case, would it make you feel more comfortable, Sarah, about not learning how to be a salesperson and simply join our opportunity, right? So if you finish your objection handling with another question, you stay in control of the conversation. Remember, these are learned skills. You just got to practice. It's a mouthful when you first start it, but even if you get off this call and review some of your notes, you can craft the same type of responses for practically all of these objections in just a few sentences. The concepts are the same, though. Use feel, felt, sound. See if you can relate it to a story, and what they're looking for is more information about how this could play out well for them. And then answer your objection finish with another question back to them, stated perhaps as, if I could solve this problem in some manner or with the tools we provide you, would this be a good fit for you? Okay? So that's, I'm no good at sales. How about, I don't know anybody, or I don't know enough people, or more specifically, I don't think I know anybody who would want to do this, right? That's a common one. So the concept for answering that one, again, the cadence is the same. Validate the question, feel, felt, found. The meat of the objection handling in I don't know if I know anybody is, that's just fine, Sarah. We don't necessarily need you to know a whole lot of people. We have a proven system that allows you to continue to expand your network and use your existing small contact base to see if other people might be interested in taking a look at this. We have tools to help you continue to not run out of people, even if you think you only know a dozen, so that you can expand your network and your opportunity. Okay, that's a good one. How about, I don't want to bug my family and friends, right? Especially when they get to the list part. I don't want to bug my family and friends. We could, again, feel, felt, found, relate to what they're talking about, and mention to them that we're not looking for them to bug their family and friends. It's similar to the question that I just answered, in that they don't know anybody, but we want to agree with them that we don't want to have them bug their family and friends as well, and we are looking for them to seek out other people who might be interested in this. We're going to use a very indirect approach when recruiting or talking through people. And we're going to say something like, Sarah, I understand. I don't want you to bug your family and friends either. we're looking for you to see if maybe they have a contact that would be interested in something like this. Right? So we use the very indirect approach and talk through their family and friends if they feel uncomfortable asking them directly. When someone new gets involved, sometimes their comfort level for sharing this with people is low because they're putting themselves out there. They're trying something new for the first time, and their identity may now be tied to what they're sharing. This is a brand new company for them. This is brand new products for them. The risk of getting rejected is pretty high. So if we just ask them to approach their family and friends, the people that they know the best and are potentially getting the most judged from, for some other contact, then it's not nearly as stressful or impactful. All right, how about, I don't want to make money off my friends. Anybody heard this one? This one's not as common, but it still is an objection when somebody hears about our compensation plan, where they understand the concept of introducing someone to the opportunity, and when they make a sale, you make some money. Some people say, I don't want to make any money off of my friends. There are a couple of different ways you can handle this one. You can use the feel, felt, found. I use a more direct approach on a regular basis with this one, because I ask them straight out, Sarah, if you don't want to make money from your family and friends, who are you okay making money from? Right? You want to make money from complete strangers? And you want to sell the products to people you don't even know? Or would you prefer to share the products that you care about, the products that you like with people you care about? Because that's how you're going to generate income here. The only income flows through our opportunity when products are sold. So if you don't like our product and you aren't willing to share it with the people that you care about because you're concerned about the number of chemicals that are going into their homes, into their bodies, into their kids, then who are you okay sharing that with? You have to get them thinking about their mindset, which is mostly what that objection is based from. Where they're coming from is it's not truly open to the concept of network marketing and multi-level marketing compensation. If you really dig into multi-level compensation plans, it's one of the most fairest types of compensation one can work in. It has a true residual, and there's an opportunity for anybody, regardless of how deep you fall in someone's organization, to out-earn someone else. The compensation plan is the exact same for everyone. And, of course, with a company as young as ours, there's no saturation point anywhere in the near future. So everyone truly has the same opportunity. You have to relate back to their mindset and how they would like to approach what it is they think we're doing. Okay? How about, this one comes up a lot. I want to try the products first. This is very reasonable, and it kind of goes in a different category than the other objections that I've talked about so far. And I'm not trying to get people to join the business opportunity without trying the products. If they would like to try the products, that's completely fine. In fact, that's why we encourage people to sample stuff out or to sell them one of their favorites so that they can give it a try. If you like to simply give samples away, that's great. If you carry things with you so that people can try them right on the spot, that's fine. If you mail stuff to people after they ask, that's also fine. Some people will join without trying the products whatsoever, which is also cool. But if they say, I'd like to try some of the products first, that's okay. That might be where they are in the process. Say, great, let's open a catalog. If you haven't already, let's get you your first order placed. That's not a problem. If you feel the person, or you can ask them directly, are you thinking about joining at some point, then you can remind them that if they purchase a kit or if they join as an independent wellness guide, obviously they get their wholesale discount on their very first purchase, and there's no risk if they don't like it. So you can take that approach as well. But if they'd like some product, by all means, get them that. But most importantly, when they get that product or when you say you're going to send it to them, also set up the follow-up conversation from that product experience. So you've heard me say before, set up the follow-up before you hang up. If you're talking to somebody over the phone or even in person and you're talking about getting them a product to try, make sure you schedule the follow-up phone call before that conversation is taken care of. So we'll see. And then you just deliver on what you said you're going to do. We've decided that you're going to try the Dead Sea Whip face wash. I'm going to mail that out to you tomorrow. You should probably have that by the weekend, maybe Monday. How about I give you a call a week from today, maybe Wednesday evening? Would that be good for you in your schedule? I'd love to hear what you think. You have a couple of days to try it, maybe even share it with your husband, see what he thinks of it, or your wife, and I'll call you on Wednesday. So they have it in their calendar, they're expecting your phone call, and then all you need to do is follow through with what you said you were going to do. Mail it out and give them a call on Wednesday. Some of these people will not be home. Some of these people will dodge your phone calls. Some of these people will answer on the first ring and love the products. All of those are completely natural. It's just your job to do what you said you were going to do. That's just where they are in this process. So set up the follow-up before you hang up and do what you said you were going to do, especially when they ask for the products to try. How about the old standby, is this a pyramid or is this a pyramid scheme? Again, this goes outside of the normal objections or the common objections that you're going to hear. I don't anticipate you'll hear this a lot, but it does come up in the industry. And there are illegal pyramid schemes that have been run in this country as well as across the world. Bernie Madoff is one of the most popular ones, I suppose. I watched the documentary on him. It's amazing how brilliant he was. Unfortunately, he used for evil instead of good. In any case, how you handle this particular objection is telling of your posturing and your preparedness. So I recommend that you prepare this one specifically. If you have to pick two or three to prepare, at least prepare what you're going to say on this one. You can go into a long spiel. You can do it pretty quickly. But my recommendation for this one is to almost immediately ask a question of the person giving the objection. Is this an illegal pyramid or is this a pyramid scheme? Because you need to know more information before you can even answer the question. Is this a pyramid scheme? Could come from someone who thinks they should ask the question because they've heard it somewhere else, but has no idea what an actual pyramid scheme is. So it's somebody who has no clue what they're even asking about, but thinks they should because it's the right thing to ask. You could also be getting the question from someone who has been ripped off in a pyramid scheme before, but has never seen network marketing, a true viable business opportunity. And they might be very jaded and emotionally charged from pyramid schemes that look like network marketing in the compensation structure. One person gets two people, okay? So there could be a very wide range of emotional responses simply coming from that question. And generally speaking, the first time they ask the question, they don't give you the extra pieces of information. So my recommendation is whenever you hear somebody use the word pyramid or pyramid scheme or illegal pyramid scheme, you have to ask for more information. So I'd say, Sarah, it's interesting you ask that. Could I please ask you, do you have some personal experience with a pyramid in the past? What has your experience been? Especially if you feel that the person has been emotionally charged. Just the way that they're asking the question, look at their body language, look at their face, look at their tone, see if you can pick up the volume and intonation of what they're saying to you. If they seem angry, by all means say, wow, it really looks like you've had some personal experience with this. Could you please tell me what it was or what happened? Maybe they knew somebody who got ripped off. You know, in my quick start, I say their neighbor's friend's dog got ripped, got into one of these things and didn't make any money. It could be as distant as that. It could have been them personally. Okay? So you have to ask them, what was your experience? And almost 100% of the time, they will be very willing to tell their story. And they might tell you how indirectly related to a pyramid scheme they are. It could be third hand from somebody that lives out of state, didn't make any money, and was kind of negative on the industry. If that's the case, you can review the pieces of your business presentation that say this is a viable business opportunity. We've been running for 3 years. We've got lots of other people in this room that are making some significant money doing this business right now with these products. And the products are pretty tangible. I can hand you one and say, this is how people get paid when they purchase this. So if this is something that seems to be a viable business to you, I encourage you to take a look at it a little further. If they're still gun-shy, you got to draw out more information from them about their particular experience. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it in front of the room if you've just done an RYBP, but if they're interested in it and they're not just combative, by all means, talk to them a little bit further about it. The other way you can answer that is with a little bit more humor, especially if somebody throws it out there and they don't look like they're mad or they're angry or they're just trying to see how you answer it. You could kind of joke back. It depends on how much experience you have in the front of the room, but you could say, hey, Justin, I don't think so, but is a pyramid what you're looking for? Or are you looking for an illegal pyramid? And see how they play back to you. So judge from the person how much emotional response is coming in that question prior to giving any more information about it. I recommend with this one especially, stay very emotionally neutral. Try not to get defensive on this one whatsoever. They're not attacking you. They're trying to see how well you can handle it under pressure. That's a pretty hot question. So if you can handle that one, you can handle practically anybody. Okay, the next one that doesn't happen in the same topic or category as the other ones we've talked about but comes up a lot is I need to talk to my spouse or think about it first. It's not necessarily an objection. Sometimes it's a stall tactic. Sometimes it's indecision, either of which are completely fine, but you're going to hear it a lot. I need to talk with my spouse, or I need to think about it first. There's two ways to handle this one, too. The direct approach, I wouldn't recommend on a regular basis. If you have good rapport with the person or you understand their personality very well, you could use the direct approach, which is, that's fine if you need to think about it, that's okay, but I'm looking for people who are decisive and can make decisions quickly. If you're that type of person, great, let's go. If not, I understand that this might not be for you. That's kind of the takeaway close, which is still effective, but you have to use it appropriately. The approach that I use with almost everybody when they say I need to talk to my spouse or I need to think about it first is I immediately say, great, that's perfect. In fact, I want you to do as much homework and as much due diligence as you want to. By all means, go online, look at the website, peek through the catalog, talk to the other people in this room for as long as you need to in order to make the best decision for you. I'm very interested in having people join my team that are truly sold out on what we want to do here so that I can invest my time and training in people who truly want to build a business with me. Even if you want to do that part-time, a couple hours a week, that's great. I just want 100% in during those hours. And then it lets them completely off the hook and lets them know that you're not looking for a quick sale. The other really important part to this is the same thing, the same finish as I want to try the products first. If someone says I want to think about it or I need to talk with my spouse, set up an appointment for the follow-up during that conversation. So while you say to Sarah, it's great, take all of that time you want, I understand that you want to look through some things and really make a great decision with your husband or your wife to make sure that you have support and buy-in. Teamwork is essential here. That's great. How long do you think it will take you to talk this over with your husband? Get the answer from them. Some people will say it'll take half an hour. They're going to go home and do it right now. Other people really think it's going to take them 4 days to discuss this with them, so you call them back after the weekend. Whatever they say the timing is, give them an extra day to a day and a half. So if they say, I'll be ready by Tuesday, say, great, can I give you a call Wednesday morning? What time would be good for you? They say 10:30. So they've already set the time distance and the timing of your follow-up appointment. All you need to do is do what you said you were going to do and make that phone call. Hey, I'm calling at 10:30 on Wednesday morning. You said you'd have enough time to talk with your husband. What is the prognosis? Do you have any other questions? Do you think this is something for you after you've done your due diligence? You just follow up. This is a very normal part of the process. I need to think about it or I need to talk with my spouse. I highly encourage that you use that approach. Again, if you want to use the direct approach, that's fine. Just make sure that you're using it in the correct situation and a takeaway close would be appropriate for that person. I'm the type of person that would respond very well to a takeaway close. I like making decisions quickly and independently. My wife is a wonderful match for me because she doesn't like that. She likes doing it for herself. So the takeaway close for me is very effective. If you know that's the personality type or style of the person you're speaking with, by all means you can use it. Most people respond better to, wow, this person really isn't trying to close me or sell me at all. They want me to feel good about it. And it's totally honest because you really do want people to join your team that want to be there, whether it's 2 hours or 22 hours, so that you can invest your time and attention in people that are truly interested in meeting you. So Those are the 9 most frequently asked, maybe not most frequently asked, but hot topics in the objection handling. I hope you've gotten some value there. I want to touch quickly on closing at an RYBP, maybe on a three-way phone call, maybe at an event if you're in front of the room or just doing a presentation. Closing is another skill that goes hand in hand with handling objections. In this industry, if you want to be a true leader and a team builder here, you've got to practice and you've got to learn this skill. Closing does not mean twisting somebody's arm. Closing does not mean being pushy. Closing does not mean annoying people until they either cave, give in so that you'll stop talking, or run away screaming from you. Closing is simply asking for the sale or asking for them to join. It's not pushy. There's no pressure, but it is your job, and leaders hear me clearly here. It's your job to ask directly, do you want to join or do you want to buy? Girl Scouts have to do it, right? Boy Scouts, when they're selling popcorn, practically everybody that wants to be a leader or be someone of influence needs to ask for the sale. They're not just going to drop into your lap. And remember, in our society particularly, people love being told what to do. It's not that you're going to push them. It's not that you're telling them to join. But if you're asking the questions, you're directing the conversation, and you can at least get a yes or a no, which is very required if you're going to be able to handle the organization of all of your contacts that run through the database. If you've got some
she's sitting right there.
Could please hit *6 on your phone to mute yourself out.
Oh, look at the baby. She's still sitting on the horse.
If you've got some background noise, would you please hit *6 on your phone to mute yourself out? So closing is asking for the sale or asking someone to join. Regularly, I use a scale of 1 to 10 at the end of RYBPs for people who have asked some questions, stuck around, they're interested. You can tell that they're interested, but they don't know and you don't know which way they're going to go. I say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I want to join right now, 1 being get away from me, where are you? If you get an answer higher than a 5 or a 6, ask them what would it take you to get to a 10. And they will tell you how to close them. They will tell you what piece of information they're looking for or what objection they haven't voiced to you yet. You'd be surprised how much information people are willing to divulge or give to you if you'd simply ask. But at the end of a presentation, a three-way phone call, or some other opportunity showing, it's your responsibility as the leader giving the presentation to ask the people listening to the presentation if they'd like to join, because now is the time. You have to get a yes or no from people. Otherwise, you're going to be following up with people forever. And we want people to get to that yes or no as soon as we can. If it's 2 exposures, great. If it's 6, that's great. But at least at the end of all 6, we've asked, and they know the next step. Okay? In my life, I reward, my wife will tell you this by far, I reward practically everyone that is brave enough to ask me to buy something. If I want the product, and they at least ask, and I'm talking from 2-year-olds to people knocking on my door that want to talk to me about their particular religion, right? I am willing to reward people that are willing to ask, but people who are also I love doing this with little kids, people who are trying to sell me something and think they're going to sell it just by standing there, I actually make them do it. They have to ask me, because that's the most important skill in selling or in influence or being a leader here. You've got to at least ask people, would you like to do this? I presented you all the information. I've answered a bunch of your questions for you. Would you like to? You're going to have plenty of people that don't need to be asked directly, but you have to ask it at least once. All right? So I hope that I've added some value to you and to your businesses this evening. I hope that I spoke a little slower this evening than I usually do. I was trying to be conscious of that. I'm trying to get better myself, so you can take some notes. If you do have some more questions or would like to probe a little deeper into this handling objection topic, you certainly know how to get a hold of us. We'd be happy to help you out. We'd also be happy to role play it live with you. If you've got an RYBP on the calendar, congratulations to you. Elizabeth Brown, did you actually make it on the call at this point or gotten to a place where you could unmute for a sec? I want to see if you are with us this evening. Elizabeth had a very successful RYBP with my wife just yesterday, I believe, and I wanted to see if she'd be willing to share how she felt about Radio Me, what was going on in her business. How about, is there an upline to Elizabeth Brown that was at that event on this call right now? Okay, well, I guess...
Yeah, Nick, I'm here. This is Maggie.
Hey, Maggie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We always love hearing from you. I was wondering if you could... I was wondering if you could share with us what you know about how Elizabeth was feeling and, what kind of happened with her in the last couple of weeks or so with Radiant Leo. I know she had a pretty successful event.
Oh, she had an amazing event last night. It was wonderful. When we started planning it, I just gave her, a couple tips just to really, just envision what she wanted. Like she wanted a packed house. She wanted lots of excited people there. And she really worked at it, and she called everybody that she knew who was local, and she kept me updated throughout the 2 weeks that she was inviting, and would tell me that she has a couple more coming, she has a couple more saying yes or maybe, and so we had a head count going the whole time, and she kept it super simple and duplicatable. She had gluten-free pretzels on the table and some cucumber water for everyone to drink, and the room was just packed, and people poured in right as she started speaking. So she just was wonderful. She gave a great intro to Melissa, and people who told her ahead of time that they were 99.5% sure that they would not join the company actually left that night saying that they wanted to. So it really showed both of us that you can never prejudge, and even if somebody tells you that up front, that they're not interested, to tell them to come anyways just for support and just because you want them to hear about their company or, your company, because you just never know. Something in the presentation might turn a switch for them. So she did an amazing job. I'm so happy for her.
That's fantastic. I appreciate you sharing. And let this be a lesson to you. Sometimes I call in people that don't know I'm going to be calling, so we love the attendance on these calls. Just see if I can get a couple little impromptu words from you. So thanks, Maggie. I appreciate you filling in for Elizabeth there. And we wish all the best of luck to Elizabeth and her team up there in Buffalo. So with that, I will leave you to your evening and to your notes. Thanks for joining us again. I know that there are a lot of other things you could have been doing during this time. Hopefully it's been valuable to you. As always, I'm Nick Brown with Radiant Leo, and I'm at your service. Have a wonderful night, guys. Bye-bye.